So to make the dress, I'm using the Caron Simply Soft yarn. This is plenty to make the dress. This is 170 grams. I'm going to use a 5mm crochet hook, a 5mm, and I'm going to chain 50 chains. So you do your slip knot whatever way you want. So we're going to chain 50. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got my 50 chains done, a chain of 50. We're going to go into the third stitch on the chain. 1, 2, 3. We're going to use a treble crochet. In the UK it's called a treble crochet, and in the USA and other countries it's a double crochet. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to do a treble crochet in every stitch all the way to the end. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go into there. So I'm going to treble crochet all the way along to the end, and I should have 48 stitches. So I've done my treble crochet right to the end, and I've got 48 stitches. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to chain 1, 2 and turn. Now into this very first stitch here, we're going to do a treble crochet. So that's 1. So we've got 1, that chain of 2 becomes your first one. 1, 2. Now into this next stitch we're going to put 2 treble crochets. 1 and 2. So we have our chain, that's 1, 2, and then 2 stitches into that next stitch. 1, 2 and double up. So 1 into that stitch, 1 into the next stitch, and then double up. We'll put 2 into the next stitch for this increase row. 2 treble crochets. The way I try to remember it is 1, 2, double up, 1, 2, double up, and that way I seem to remember and get my stitch count correct. So 1 and 2 and then double up, so put 2 into that next stitch, because it is important when we get down to do the armholes that we have enough stitches, that we have the right amount of stitches. So it's 1, 2, then double up, 1, 2, then we've got 2 in that one stitch, 1, 2, and then 2 into that stitch. So we're doubling it up all the way to the end. So a single treble in this one, a single treble in the next one, and then 2 single trebles into the next stitch. So we're doubling that one up all the way to the end, and we should have 65 stitches. Count your stitches, you should have a 65. I've got my 65 stitches all along here. So we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and turn. So into the base of this stitch here we're going to put 1 treble crochet. So we've got 1, 2, count that chain as your first one, 1, 2, 3. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Now in this next stitch we're going to put 2 trebles into the next stitch. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and then we've doubled up, put 2 in there. The same again all the way to the end. 1, 2, and 3. And then double up, put 2 crochets into the next stitch. 1 and 2. This is another increase row. 1, 2, 3, 2 stitches into the next one. 1, 2, 3, then double up. 1, 2, 3, and then 2 trebles into the next stitch. 1 and 2, all the way to the end. So it's 1, 2, 3, double up, 1, 2, 3, double up. So we've got, count the chain, 1, 2, 3, then we've got 2 in there, 1, 2, 3, and then a double. We doubled it up there, put 2 in there, 1, 2, 3, and put 2 in there. So we'll do that all the way to the end. So I've completed round 3 and we've got 82 stitches up to here. So you're counting your stitches, I've got 82 here. So your first row, we should have 48, your second row, 65, and now we've got 82. So the next row, we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, turn your work, and remember straight into this little end here at the bottom here. This one counts as your first chain. This chain counts as your first stitch. So right into that corner. That's 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we will put 2 into the next stitch. So 2 single trebles into the next stitch. 1 and 2 into the same stitch. So your chain counts as 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, double up, 1, 2, 3, 4, double up. So we're on 4, and then we put 2 into the next stitch. So this one gets 1 treble, 1 treble into the next stitch. That's 2, 1 treble into the next stitch. That's 3, 1 treble into the next stitch. That's 4, and then we'll double up. We'll put 2 trebles into this next stitch. 1 and 2 into that same stitch. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2. So we do that all the way to the end, and we should have 98 stitches. Once you count them, we should have 98. So I'll do that all the way around to the other end, and I'll show you what to do next. So remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then put 2 in. So I finished my 4th row and I've got 98 stitches. Count your stitches, you should have 98. So we're going to chain 2 and turn, and we're going to do 1 full round of treble crochet. So we're going to treble crochet all the way around. So yarn over, make sure you go into that first space there, and treble crochet into every stitch all the way around. Do a treble crochet If you're in the USA, it's a double crochet. I didn't put my yarn over. All the way around. So once I've done all my treble crochet, I'll come back and show you what to do next. So there's no increase, just a treble crochet row into every stitch. And we should still have 98 stitches. So I'll work my way around, all the way around to this end, and I'll show you what to do next. So I've got my last row done and I have 98 stitches. I've got some little spare colour parts of yarn. I'm going to show you how to do the armholes. Now this is the back of the dress, of the yoke of the dress, and this will be the front, and we need to mark off where the armholes are going to go. I'll show you with this one that I've been working on. This is one that I've been working on, and you've got to mark out where your armholes are going to be on this yoke. Now once you learn how to make the yoke, this top half, this top section of the dress, you can put any pattern on the bottom of the dress that you want if you have enough stitches. If you don't, you can always add a few, but you can put any pattern on to this little dress once we've got this basic part here done. To work out our 98 stitches is, we need so many for each part of the back, so many for the armholes, and so many for the front. Most of the time the front and the back have the same number. So for this dress it will be 14 stitches for this half of the back, then 21 for the armhole, 28 for the front, 21 for this armhole, and 14 for this section. So what we're going to do is we're going to count 14 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now in this stitch I'm going to put a piece of yarn. Just loop it through or tie it in. You can use those little pin things if you want. So we've got 14. Count the chain. Count that first chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Go to the other side. We're going to do the same. Now remember, this is where we finished our stitch, so be careful with your last stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So into this space we'll put a piece of yarn. We'll put a marker in. We'll take them out. I found when you're a beginner, this is the easiest way to mark out where your armholes are going to go. Now we're going to count 21. We're going to go around this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 and 21. So in this space we'll put a marker. So we'll put a marker in that one. So you can see the way it's working out. This one and this one, that's your armhole. That's your back. that piece is the back. So we'll count 20 from this one around here for the other armhole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Sorry, I said 20, 21. And we'll put a marker in. I thought I had 4. I've done 3. Yep, there we go. That's the last one. So we'll put a marker in at this one. This is 21. So we should have 28 stitches around the front. We should have 28. 1, 2, 3. 28. So we've got 28, and this is the way your little dress yoke. I'll turn it round that way. That's the back. So those armholes will match up. That's an armhole. That's your back. That's the other part of your back. And that is an armhole. And that's the way your little dress is. That will match up with that. So that's the back. You've got your armhole, the armhole, and then this part on the front. This will be the front. I'm going to show you what to do next. So get all your little yoke together. So we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and turn. We're going to do a treble crochet all the way around to here. We're going to stop here. So do 1 treble crochet into each stitch. I'll zoom in. So we're going to put 1 treble crochet all the way around to this marker. Once you've made a few of these, then you'll easily remember where you're going with it. So yarn over, make sure you go into that first little space there. We're going to put treble crochet in, into the next one, into the next, so all the way to that marker. We're going to put treble crochet. In the USA, that's a double crochet all the way to that marker. So I'm at my marker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the marker out. I'm going to go over to my other marker, put a treble crochet in there where we took the marker out of. So once we've gone into where that marker is, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2 and 3. Now put your yarn over and make sure you've got your yoke the right way. Fold it over to meet that other marker. We're making the armhole. Put your hook through, find your yarn, put your yarn over, pull it through, and we're going to do a treble crochet. Take your marker out, and that's you made your first armhole. So we got to the marker, we chained 3, and we crocheted in to the other marker. We just folded it over. So now we're going to treble crochet around the front to the other marker. Make sure you're going the right way. Make sure you're going around the front of the yoke and you're not working up around the armhole. So make sure you're going around the front part of which is going to be the front of your dress. Nearly at my other marker. I'm going to take that out, do a stitch in there, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to fold our dress over to where the other marker is. Yarn over, go through where your marker is. So we're just folding the armhole over, go through there. We'll take that off in a minute. Pull your yarn through. Do your treble crochet. Take the marker stitch out. And then we're going to treble crochet to this end. Just make sure it's not twisted anywhere when you fold it over. Just make sure it's not twisted. We'll treble crochet to this end. So I'm putting my last treble crochet in this end. We're going to the end of this. Just make sure it's not twisted. Make sure your little dress is all round the right way. Make sure you've got no twists anywhere. So we're going to go in to the corner of this stitch that's down here. That's here. We're going to join the dress in this corner. Just slip stitch in and then through. I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. So to complete this body part, we're going to treble crochet all the way around. So we're going to go all the way around the body. When you get to your chain, you're going to put 3 trebles in the chain, work around the front, put 3 trebles in this side and work this half of the back. Make sure you do not go up around there when you get to your chain. Don't do that. So I've got my 3 chain in. I am going to treble crochet around to the chain. In the USA, that's a double crochet. My last stitch of that part. I'm at the chain. I'm just going to go right around the chain and do 3 trebles across the chain, right under. It's a lot easier just to go right under. Right under. That's the third one. Then treble crochet in to this little stitch that's here. And I'm going to treble crochet all the way around the front to this chain here. We'll put 3 treble crochets in the chain and then we'll work our way back to where we started. So I'm going to treble crochet all the way along to the next part of my chain. So I've worked my way around the front to the other chain space, and that's my armhole there. So I'm going to put 3 treble crochets under the chain over to the other side. 1, 2 and 3. Going to treble crochet into that little space there. Can you see that little triangle into there? And along to where I started. I'm going to work along to my chain of 3. We'll slip stitch into the top of a chain of 3. So count 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to slip stitch into the top of that chain. So I've got the top part of the little dress done, and we're going to do the pattern the same as the little bonnet, which also matches the little baby blanket. Now the video for the blanket is on my channel, and the video for the bonnet is on my channel as well. So I'm going to show you how to do the pretty little pattern to do the dress. So around this part of the body is where we're going to put some of the ribbon, and we'll put some ribbon around the collar as well. So what we do for the pattern, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. So to do the cross stitch, so we've done a chain and we're going to ignore that little space. We're going to start making the crosses. So we'll skip this stitch and work into the top of this stitch. We're using a double treble. So wrap your yarn twice around your hook. So ignore that little stitch. So we're going to skip this stitch and work into the top of this stitch. Yarn through and pull, hook through, pull your yarn through, yarn over, through 2 stitches, yarn over and through 2. So yarn over and through the last 2 loops. Now we're going to work back to that stitch there. We're going to come through this big gap and we're going to put our hook in through the stitch like that. So yarn over twice to do the double treble. If you're in the USA, this is called a treble stitch. So we're going to come through the gap, we're going to work back to that skip stitch. You hook through, pull your yarn through, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, and yarn over and through 2 loops. So we've made our first cross. This chain will get used when we get around to here. We'll ignore that just now. Skip a stitch and we're going to work into the next stitch. So yarn over twice through the top of that stitch, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over and through 2 loops, yarn over twice, hold it and go through the hole, and we're going into that skipped stitch here, this one here. So put your hook through that skipped stitch, pull your yarn through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, and yarn over and through 2 loops. Now when you're first doing this, you might get a little muddled, but don't be afraid just to take it out and try. Once you get this, you get the hang of this, you'll love this stitch. It's not a difficult stitch. It's a little bit fiddly, but it's not a difficult stitch. So skip this stitch and we're going to work into this one. Yarn over twice through the top of the stitch, yarn over, because it looks like you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches on. Pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over twice, go into the gap, and we're going to work that skipped stitch. We're working back to the skipped stitch. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. Just like that. We're going to do that all the way around our little dress, around the body of the dress until we get back to here. So I've came right around the body of my little dress. Now you'll notice that we've only got 1 stitch left here. Do you remember this little space that I told you just to ignore at the beginning? What we're going to do is to make this go across the same way, do your yarn over twice. We're going to go in the front way to that little space and pull our yarn through. I'll show you that again. So this little space here, we need a cross section to come across the front of this chain of 3. So we're going to go in like this, put your yarn over and pull your stitch through. Do your double treble, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. Now as you can see, it's crossed it over like that. What we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into the top of that chain. Slip stitch into the top of that chain, and that gives us our last little cross at the back like that. I'll show you that again. I'll take that stitch out, catch this one. So if you're left with this one space, this one part of the cross, go into this space here. Treat this as a skip stitch. So we're going to yarn over twice. So we're going to do this slightly different. We're going to go into the front of this stitch. Pull your yarn through, yarn over, through 2, yarn over, through 2 loops, yarn over through the last 2 loops. So that gives us the cross so that it's going the same direction. We're going to slip stitch into the top of our chain of 3, slip stitch in, pull through and pull through that one, and that's our first row finished. If you need to watch that again, just rewind the video. If you're making this little dress with this pattern and you get stuck at the end, rewind the video, just rewind back a bit, and then you'll see how to do that, and it keeps it all uniform. I'll take that out just now. So one other thing, check all your crosses. Make sure you have the 2 sections. You don't want to find out away down at the bottom of the dress that you've got one up here on its own. Make sure with each of your rows that you check that all your stitches are crossed over properly. So that is the pattern. That one row is the pattern. So what you'll do now, again, you'll chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Ignore that tiny little stitch. That one right at the bottom, ignore that. We'll use that when we get to the end, just like we did with this one. So ignore that tiny little stitch there. You can see your cross here quite clearly. Your cross is there. We're going to miss this stitch and go into this stitch. This is at the top, just off to the right, or just off to the left of that bottom cross section. So yarn over twice, skip that stitch and go into that one. Completely ignore that tiny little stitch there. So you can see the two stitches that we're going to work on. So yarn in and pull through, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. Now we're going back to this stitch that we skipped here, that's in the middle of this cross section. So yarn over twice, through the space and through that skipped stitch. Pull your yarn through 2 loops, yarn over, through 2 loops, yarn over and through 2 loops. We've got our first cross, our first little crossover. Yarn over twice, so there's one in that stitch, so we're using these two. Skip this stitch, go into this stitch, yarn over, through 2 loops, yarn over, through 2 loops, through 2 loops, yarn over twice, go through the gap, just find that skipped stitch into there, pull your yarn through, yarn over, through 2 loops, yarn over, through 2 loops and yarn over and through 2 loops. And we're going to continue around our dress. Now this time you can clearly see the two stitches. This is the one we've just used, and we're using these two stitches. And that is going to keep your little crosses above each other. So once again, I'm back at the end of my row. So this is my chain of 3. We're going into this little space here. So yarn over twice, just go into the front of that little space and pull the stitch up. I'll show you that again. So that's the stitch there. We're just going in and pulling up that top bar of that stitch. Pull your yarn through, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over and through 2 loops. We will go into the top of that chain of 3, into that space, yarn over and slip stitch to join that round. And there we go. I'll turn that round the right way. Make sure again, check your round, make sure that you've got all your crosses, all your 2 parts on your cross. You don't want to do all your dress and find out you've only got one section of a cross on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work my pattern down to the length of the dress that I want. I can't tell you how many repeats to do because I don't know how long you want your dress. You can have this as a little christening dress. You can make it quite long for a christening dress. You can have it sort of midway. So once I've got all my pattern repeats on, I'll come back and I'll show you what to do next. Now I'm going to do 12 just to see what it looks like. I may need a few more, I might not. Just depends on how long you want your dress. So I finished the length of my little dress I've done 11 pattern rows of the little dress. As you go further down, it gets more stretchy. And because we're going around and around, there is also this little sort of wave that runs through it because I'm going around and around on it. So I'm going to just take my yarn off, put it through that last stitch and pull it. I'll zoom in a little bit more. And it's turned out really, really pretty. On the back, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up some stitches around the end, around the collar, all around the collar, and along and down this side. I'm just going to use a single crochet stitch or a double crochet in the UK. In the UK this is a double crochet, and in the USA it's a single crochet. Just pull that through, yarn over, pull through. So I'm going to work, tighten that off just a little bit. I'm going to work along this edge. I'll pull my tail in as well. I'm going to crochet in the tail. So I'm just going to do a single crochet stitch along the edge and through. This will neaten the edge off, and I'll show you how I got my button hook. Just a single crochet, work your way along. Count your stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll count the stitches till I get to here, so when I come down I'll pick up the same amount of stitches on that side so it's even. Now you can do this in other colours. You can do the top white and you can do the bottom in a different colour. You can do the yoke part white and do all the trim in a different colour. It's up to you how you do this. Oops, that's a treble, don't do trebles. To the end. So what I'm going to do to make the button hook, I'm going to crochet 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. I'm going to bend it in and go into that last space and do my stitch. And what that does, it creates a little buttonhole, a hook for your button. So we'll put a button on the other side, and that will be for the button. The chain of 5 will be for the button. Now I'm going to work my way all around the top and come down to here, and that'll be the top of the dress finished. My armholes are nice and neat. I don't need to do the armholes. But if your armholes are a little untidy, you can go all the way around the armholes as well. So I'll get that done. What I'm going to do is this very bottom, in and out of this very bottom one here, I'm going to thread some ribbon, and that way it'll match the little bonnet. I'm going to put some of this ribbon around the dress. I'll put it around the dress so it'll look really pretty around the dress, and it'll match the bonnet and it'll match the little blanket. So I'll get that done and I'll come back and I'll show you what it's like. So I've got my little dress all finished. I put a couple little white strawberry buttons on the front. They're just not there for anything other than decoration. I've put some thin white ribbon around it. This is a 4mm ribbon that I've put around the little dress, and I think it's turned out beautiful. I've got a little button on the back, and remember I showed you how to do that little hoop so that you could button up the back. If you want to put more buttons on, then just put another chain of 5 and attach it so that you can put another button on if you want it. My ribbon runs right through, right around, and I think it's turned out absolutely beautiful, and it matches in with the blanket that we made and the bonnet. So we've got a little, I'll move that out of the way, we've got the little dress, and there is a video on just how to do that yoke if you want to make the dress a different pattern. So there will be a video uploaded on how to do the yoke, and this is from about, I would say, birth to 3 months, but you can make it bigger. You can add an extra 10 stitches on and just work it the same sort of way. Make your armholes a little bit bigger as well, and the little bonnet just matches perfect in there, so it's a beautiful little baby set. It's absolutely beautiful. So remember, the video for the blanket will be on YouTube on my channel. The video for the bonnet is on my channel as well, and now we've got the little dress. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Please just click on that button down there that says subscribe. It is free to join my channel. If you click on the little bell icon that's right there beside it, you'll be notified when I post another video. So if you're watching the one for the blanket and you're waiting on the dress and the hat, you'll get a little notification when a new tutorial comes on to YouTube. So until the next time, happy crafting, and I hope to see you all again soon. Goodbye.